Welcome to the CRM users group. I am Courtney Kearney with C. Kearney Consulting, and we have a guest speaker today that will be presenting. I just want to take a minute to say thank you for calling in and participating. Usually we have some people share their video webcams. If you want to do that, feel free. I will not be doing so today due to being under the weather. So I want to introduce our speaker, Lindsay Stafford with Kraus-Anderson will be presenting on tracking trade shows and using an automated project completion report. Today's call, we plan for it to be around 30 to 40 minutes. And Lindsay's going to kick us off to share about how they use CRM at Kraus-Anderson. And then we'll open it up to questions and answers and dialogue. This call is only as good as we make it, so definitely participate. And I will kick it off and hand it over to Lindsay. Thank you so much for being our guest speaker.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me as the presenter today. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. So I'll begin with saying that we've been recently using Closeout to track our various trade shows and conferences throughout our construction company using the activities and call logs. And over the past couple of years, we've also been using the publisher tool to create customized project summary forms that we send out to either business development people or our project managers. First, I'll show you how we use the activities module to track our trade shows and conferences and some other events within our organization. So this is my dashboard that I use for myself, and you can see on the left-hand side it has all of the 2019 ones for our organization, as well as see the completed ones, which already have been done since either January or up until now, and I also sort it with the ones that haven't started yet up until the end of the year. And then on the right-hand side, I use call log activities to remind myself to either gather some things to make sure they're done on a date, or if I need to send something to a different office. I'll show you how we began tracking these. So we used a opportunity shell, and we named this one 2019, and then next year we'll have a 2020 marketing trade shows and conferences. And we also created a stage for marketing use only, because we track our sales in our CRM, so that way this opportunity won't interfere with that. We've also made it closed, as you can see, for the prospect type. And then down here is where I use, I'll create a call log shell to enter all the trade shows. So for the caller, we use it for whoever is the coordinator of the event. So in that case, it's me, the attendee who's ever going within our organization. The call date I usually use as the beginning of the trade show, and sometimes I'll use the times whether or not I can get that information. Status is usually not started because I enter these before the event has begun. The disposition is our firm org business unit, so we were able to customize that. Associations are either the different offices that our company goes to, or other organizations. Like we attend something called MASA, so I would put MASA within this or the association. For the subject line, I would put the name of the trade show, and I'll show you an example. So in order to show you that, I have to click on that. And we use the comment section to just put any information that we can't enter within some of these already pre-filled fields. And as you can see, like we'll put the full conference dates, locations, who's one of the people who's they're the most important contact, whether or not we have a booth, whether or not the staff's registered, whether or not our Microsoft Outlook appointments are up to date, whether or not they need lodging, what they need for the booth, some other notes, other miscellaneous notes, and sometimes we'll even put for next year to know what is either the best or the worst, or what we could improve on for next year. I'll also use that follow-up task, like I said, to remind myself, and I'll usually put the details of what I need to remind myself on in this line. Assigned to is usually me, the due date in which I need to do the task, and then I'll notify, and that way it'll trigger and it'll send me an email. Moving on to how I can sort these is creating a custom filter within the activities module, and I'll just show you the custom filters that I created for 2019 and 2020, just as soon as this loads. There we go. So here are all of our 2019 trade shows. It's kind of just easier to see. I tried to click off whatever fields that weren't important to be on this grid, just because it's easier to look at and easier on the eye. And I began entering some of the 2020 shows as well as they come up. Moving on to the project closeout form, project summary closeout form list. We have a report that we created that it's triggered. I pull the report the first of the month every month, and it reports on what projects have been closed out within 90 days. So, and we usually send these forms out to the project managers that the job is over 1 million, or if it's unique. And I'll show you how we do this. So within the publisher module, I'll go and create a document, project profile, and then I will create a new project or new form for the project. And I'll use this one as an example. And then you'll click this last selected templates. And it's generating the document. It'll take a little while in order to do that. I usually generate a PDF form. It's easier to keep it formatted for people to send it out to. So once this is done, I will click the PDF, and it'll look like this once it opens. So as you can see, it gives us our project number, what the name of it is, the address, our client and owners, as well as the client and owner contacts, whatever consultants are associated to this project, our project internal staff team. You can also write different descriptions on who was involved in what part of the project process. Mainly these fields are from the project summary list within the project shell of Closeout. The schedule dates are just different project dates that they can fix, different dollar amounts, and other project cost comments that they can add. This part is where it's usually blank, but I've already sent this to a project manager, and I wanted to show you guys this because this is a very good example on how it could be filled out. He gave us some really good information that we can use. So they'll usually fill out this constructability and issues and challenges, the lessons learned, project details, other project risks. There was really no important schedule details, the notes, other unique elements, and why we as a contractor were selected. We've also included components, and we usually update this page about twice a year just because we add so many components throughout the year, just so that we can do different reporting on them. So once I get that back, I will go into the project record and I will go and either enter the information or fix the information. And once that's all completed, I will put my name, my initials, and the date that I updated this project in the record update complete, just so that on that report that I was talking about, the project closeout 90 days, that will trigger me to say, oh, I don't need to resend this out, or I do not need to send it out to the project manager again because I already did it and it's completed. I can also show you that where we store these documents for each project. We'll put them in the documents section and I will upload it as this is how I name it, with the project number, marketing closeout form, who filled it out, and the date that it was completed. And you'll go ahead and add that, and that's it. So thanks for having me present. Any questions?
We can't hear.
I think everybody is muted. Hold on, let me try to unmute everybody.
Okay.
Everybody has their volume back. Who all has questions?
There on the bottom.
We have a question in the chat. Is the PDF form completed electronically?
They can, a lot of the times, they'll just edit the PDF and they'll send it back to me. Or some people will print it out and or handwrite the different edits, or if they need to write anything about the project. So it can go either way. If they do hand it to me with their edits, I'll go ahead and scan it and then enter it.
I'm curious we have another question. Back on the call logs and task reminders, do the reminder emails get sent right away or closer to the due date you select?
They get sent right away, but they also get sent the day of. I'm starting to notice, because I was fearing that it wouldn't remind me on my Outlook calendar, so then I would manually enter on my Outlook calendar to remind myself again, just to make sure it's I have it tracked double time. But I had one earlier this week and it did trigger me to send it to do whatever task that I created a activity for. There's another question from Alexander Nelson. Do you do any automated tracking at the start of the project or 50% complete via workflows? So currently we have workflows turned off, so we don't use them. We just use reports to do some tracking.
I'm curious, what was the decision behind turning that off?
Just over the people.
Was there a driving force, like overuse, or just people were ignoring them?
Yeah, I think it was overuse, too many emails, so. There's another question. Back on the call logs and task reminders, do the emails get sent right away? Okay, that was another question, or the same question. I missed the first 8 minutes of the webinar, so I have missed the initial discussion and where all of the conference information is being housed in Closeout. Will a recording of this webinar be available?
We can definitely make the recording, but if you have time to kind of go back through that, we do have several new callers since you kind of covered that, Lindsay, if you want to kind of refresh.
Okay, so within the past year, our company has been using our Closeout CRM to track different trade shows and conferences throughout our company, and we do this through the activities module. This is my dashboard that I've created for myself. So on the left, you can see all the different activity entries that I've added, or call log activity entries that I've added for all of our trade shows of 2019. I have it sorted by the status of whether or not it's been an event that's already been completed or has not been started yet. So these are all from next week till the end of December 2019. On the right-hand side, I will use tasks, the task filter or whatever to just send reminders to myself, and on whether or not, a lot of the times I need to send some trade show materials to our outer offices. So that's just an example of how I use tasks to just remind myself that I need to send some stuff to outer offices. I can go back through and show how I enter some things. I also created a screenshot of what everything means for our call logs, so I would be more than welcome, or more than happy to send that to Courtney if she would want to send it out to the CRM group.
That would be great, yes.
Okay. I will use an example again on how I enter my information as a call log entry. So the caller would be the person who's coordinating the event, so that's typically me. Some of the attendees that are going to it within our company. You can also add contacts, but we haven't been adding contacts to people who are going to trade shows. The call date I'll use as the beginning date of the trade show. Sometimes I'll use the start time if I have that information. The status, like I said, it's either completed or not completed. The call type, we've added a new entry as trade show conference, so I'll usually click that. Call disposition, we've manipulated to our firm, organization, business units. And that way, it's just another way we can report, or not report, but sort by. Associations are the either organizations that are hosting these trade shows or conferences, or which one of our offices are attending these events. I'll also associate our 2019 marketing opportunity to this as well. And in the subject line, I will put the name of the trade show. And within the comment section, it's kind of just whatever information that you want to put in there that you are not able to enter within any of these different fields. So as you can see, I put all the dates of the conference, where's the location at, who is the main person that I need to be in contact with at the at our organization, whether or not it's on our trade show Outlook calendar, if we have a booth or if we don't need a booth, person who's in charge of the setup and needs to go to that place to set the booth up, some notes, other miscellaneous items that you want to put down. And then sometimes I'll even put for next year so that we can either improve or, take away some things for the next year. To go back to that task, the follow-up task, this is where I'll have that reminder to myself, and Closeout will send me an email reminding me of this. So in the subject line, you can put whatever you want to be reminded about, put yourself or either someone else and the due date, and then you'll click notify, and that'll trigger an email. So does anyone else have any other questions? I can try and answer this question from Sam, that maybe some similar to how you track who/when you send the project marketing report to the project manager. We are looking for a way to track which clients we send marketing material to. Any suggestions? Also, a way to track when we send client/project thank you gifts. One idea off the top of my head would be to use the mailing list. Let me pull up an example, like a contact record example. So you can see right here, this person has either been involved with or been invited to all these different events or have been given different gifts. So that's another way you can report, is using that mailing list module. The next question. Oops.
Oh, go ahead. No, this is Amy. I was going to see if any of the other callers were Deltek users instead of Closeout users, and could chime in and help answer that question as well. If not, we can. The question, is this comparable to creating an activity in Deltek? That was her question. That's why I'm asking that.
This is Amanda. We use Closeout currently for activities more as, like, not for conferences and events and such, but more so for like meetings, face-to-face meetings, important emails that go back and forth. We're actually moving to Deltek, so I'm looking at options right now as to we're moving our CRM to Deltek, excuse me. So we hope to find a way to track conferences and such, bigger events in that system. So I can keep you posted as we move along with that.
Excellent. We usually have a Dell Tech expert on here, and she is not this month. So I will ask her as well. I was trying to find a screenshot or a video as well to share, but I am drawing up empty. My question specifically for Seema, are you on Vantage Point or Vision?
Vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Amanda, I think it was you that was saying that you were moving. Are you moving to Vantage Point?
Yes. So right now we have Deltek Vision and Cosential CRM, but we're upgrading actually tomorrow to Vantage Point. Everyone say a prayer, please, with love. And then in about, like, we'll be working behind the scenes to move CRM from Cosential to Vantage Point once, like, that's up and running. So we're hoping to be using Vantage Point as our CRM come November.
That's exciting. Definitely keep us posted. Call in next, well, I guess in 2 months.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop. And who's that Deltek expert you said y'all had usually on the call?
Lindsay Devine, she
Gotcha.
is great with Deltek, and then I know a bunch of people over at Full Sail that I can ask as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is Amy. I don't really have a question, but I did want to just say, I think using the activities and call logs to track your trade shows and conferences is a great way to, if you have an event manager or a person at your firm that is in charge of strictly, doing conferences and trade shows, this is a great way to get them engaged in using your CRM, because most of the time they're using like Excel spreadsheets and all of that to try to track all of their conference and trade show information. I know at my previous firm, our event manager used an Excel spreadsheet. So this is a great way to get those people in marketing that aren't doing proposals and dealing with projects, another way to get them involved in using your CRM.
I'll definitely piggyback on what you were saying, Amy. It also shows greater use of the system. If anybody is an SMPS member, Julie Schaefer and I did a learning lab in July over the summer, kind of on this topic a little bit, talking about how to expand on your CRM and really optimize it and think out of the box. And using it to track some marketing initiatives was shared on that call. So if you are an SMPS member and you missed that learning lab, you can log into my SMPS and get that information. It's also on RC Kearney website. Every value that you can show out of your CRM, it definitely helps leadership continue to pay that bill. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you so much, Lindsay. I greatly appreciate you taking time to show us what you guys are doing and how you're using your CRM. I do want to let everybody know that we are looking for guest speakers for 2020. So in the follow-up email that Dacry will send you, we will have a link to sign up to be a guest speaker. So if you want to share or show how you're using your CRM, any lessons learned, whether they're happy or painful lessons, we would love to hear from you. And just like today, you share for a little bit and then we open it up for Q&A. We are going to be moving our calls to 30 minutes in 2020 just to see if we can get some more participation so that you guys are not dedicating a full hour to your day. I know we're all crazy busy, so I think 30 minutes is really the sweet spot for these calls. And as always, we're going to ask for feedback, so take some time to fill out the survey to give us future topics that you want to hear. And again, we would love to have you as a guest speaker.